Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my weekly deck reviews. Holy moly, has it been a week in the world. Yeah, so if you are out there and feeling very disconnected, a little bit of stress, a little worry, you're definitely not alone. I've been having a really weird week and just feeling very ungrounded and unsettled and all that good stuff because it's been a crazy week in the world. That being said, later today, so I'm going to be putting this video up in the morning on Saturday, and later today Peggy and I are going to be hosting a live chat talking about self-care for tough times. So join us for that if you just want to hang out. Peggy's going to be showing us how to make our own washable face masks, which could be very useful around this time. So we'll just kind of have a casual hangout. We'll be talking about self-care. She'll be showing us how to do the thing, and it might just be good to get together and connect. A lot of us are stuck at home or have had very limited social contact lately, and it just might feel really good to get together. So that's happening later today if you happen to be watching this video right when I put it up. And if not, it's all good. Definitely comment down below and let us know how you've been doing. It's just been really crazy. So I'm gonna jump right into my weekly deck review because that is what I'm here for. And I haven't actually recorded a video in like a week, since last week, because the videos I put up this week I had recorded over the weekend. So it's been kind of a weird like lull for me of not filming, which is kind of strange because I film a lot, as you probably know, because I put a lot of content up on the channel. But anyway, I'm babbling. I do have some lemon balm tea. I found out from Dustin over at Modern Metaphysic Man that lemon balm is known to have some antiviral properties for starters, but mostly I'm drinking it because it has some anti-anxiety benefits. And I mean, this is just what I've heard. I'm not an expert. Do not quote me. Check with your doctor about anything herb related. But it has some anti-anxiety and sleepy properties. I'm not going out tonight, so I thought it'd be nice just to bring all the energy down. I've just finished work. It's Friday night when I'm filming this, and it's just, yeah. So it's just steeping now. It's got its little lid on, but it smells really good, and it's just straight lemon balm with a little bit of sugar. So that I'm looking forward to. Now let's talk about the decks I've been working with over the past week. So as you know, I've been working with Marseille and or Pip decks for quite a few weeks now, I feel like. And this last week I was working with the Tarot Sirene. This deck, I keep calling it the Mermaid Marseille, which is not at all what it's called, but that's what I keep calling it. This box is so pretty and like this has got some really good mermaid vibes. And this deck was really fun to play with this week. My deck has just a little bit of a bow. I don't think it's quite adjusted to my humidity. I've noticed that sometimes I get decks that are like this when I first get them, and they kind of have this bow. And then oftentimes once they've sort of adjusted to my environment, I guess you could say, they flatten out. But to be honest, it doesn't really bother me. Possibly because this is a smaller deck, but I'm just in love with these holographic backs. Like, I mean, I'm in natural light right now, so you can really see it, but oh my gosh, just love it. Anyway, let me let the camera focus. There we go. So it is just a typical Marseille deck, but it's got all of the decorations on the pips, and of course our quartz and our majors feature mermaids and sort of sea inspired foliage and that kind of thing. And so it really does have its own little world. It's really pretty, and I really enjoyed working with this as a standard Marseille. I had absolutely no trouble working with this alongside my Untold Tarot book, which I'll talk about again in a moment, but it was just really fun and pretty to play with. I really enjoyed, after I would shuffle, just sort of fanning the cards out to pick the place where I was going to cut the deck, because the backs are so dang pretty. Like, look at all the rainbows. I absolutely loved working with this. It's probably right now one of my favorite Marseille decks. It was just so much fun to play with, and I really like the size. It's very convenient because I have been trying most of the time when I'm working with Marseille to do like 3-card pulls. So a lot of this week was, what should I be focusing on today, or what can bring me comfort today? And I was using 3 cards, and it was really, really useful. It was really astounding this week. This has been a very difficult and crazy kind of week, as I've mentioned. And I kept pulling 3 major arcana cards, and the devil was like everywhere this week. It was a total stalker card. And the keyword that jumped out at me for this devil card was fear. And obviously there's a lot of fear in the world and a lot of anxiety in the world right now. So this has been really, really a joy to work with. The Oracle deck that I've been working with this week is the Curious Oracle. Now, this one is by Holly DeFount. Let me just show you the back. It's so pretty. This does read for me very Lenormand-like in a way. It's got a little bit more depth. Oh, look, that's the card that's the same as the backs. There's a keyword at the bottom, and there's sort of a there's a title at the top and then a keyword at the bottom. Now the keyword's in like a scriptish font, which has occasionally given me a little bit of trouble, but it has at least forced me to slow down a bit. I thought this deck was really interesting, and it felt like it read very snappy and direct for me. And in fact, this week, the stalker card in the Oracle deck was the Ephemera card, which I'm going to show you because in my mind, this represented what we're dealing with this week. And just the shape and the way that this card looks. Ephemera, snowflakes. It's supposed to be snowflakes, but the red background, this just kind of, I used this as a keyword for sort of what we're up against right now. And it worked out really well. I mean, it just kind of looks like cells in the body, doesn't it, a little bit? So it just, whatever that would come up in context, and I would pull 3 cards at a time from this too and read them very Lenormand style. So for example, I got a lot of this card with love, the heart, and also with the shield. I wonder if I can find it here, which was all about protection. Which just made so much sense in the context of what we're dealing with this week. I also got the green woman or nature a lot, which to me makes a lot of sense when we're talking about a natural phenomenon in the world. And obviously most of my readings this week were definitely about how I was feeling about everything that's going on in current events right now. And so yeah, it just worked out really well, to the point where I was almost reluctant to switch it out, but I'm going to be working with, I think, a deck that will work similarly for me this week. Now, I did really enjoy getting back into Caitlin Matthews' Untold Tarot this week. This is a very comforting book for me to work with Marseille decks with. I really enjoy working in the various sections that are in here. When I was working with the pips, I really enjoyed going into the tab that I've marked pips to, where you have sort of the numbers are grouped. They're grouped by numbers. You have sort of an overall theme for that number, and then there's like examples of how you might read each of the 4 suits depending on the number. So there'll be some example upright and reversed readings for Ace of Swords, Ace of Batons, Ace of Cups, and Ace of deniers or coins, which is all grouped together. So this is the section I've been really enjoying for the pips. And then of course the majors. When I highlighted this book, when I went through it, what I highlighted in the majors was the sentence that talks about how to basically read it in a line. So for example, like it looks at direction and stuff. So for the Empress, in a reading, the Empress prompts you to look at what is going to make your life more beautiful and harmonious, or shows you what it is that needs your special protection or attention. So see which card is to the right of her. So for each major arcana in this book, and I mentioned this before, there's like a directional sort of how to like read the card in combination with other cards, and that's how I've been working with this week. So on some of the front-facing cards, for example, the Devil, which I mentioned came up quite a few times as far as fear, there was a suggestion in here to pull a card for up above the Devil for how is that fear sort of manifesting, or what is it creating, and then underneath to draw a card and put that card there for what is the root or the source of the fear. So there's a lot of little things like that for every single major arcana, and I really enjoyed working with those elements because it made my readings much more dynamic. So really enjoyed it. This week, I feel like what I wanted was something a little bit less heady and intellectual, which these 2 decks supported me really well this week, but I just wanted something a little bit different. Oh, before I show you the decks though, the reading cloth I worked with this week I mentioned was the this Waves. This Waves one, it just worked so good behind the Mermaid Marseille. See? I keep doing it. I'm never going to stop calling it that, apparently. The Tarot Sirene. And I also used a crystal with both decks this week. And I worked with Blue Lace Agate alongside my reading. So this slice came with me in my little travel pouch, and I worked with this crystal. I'm probably going to pick a different crystal to work with this upcoming week, and I'll share what I chose with you at the end of the week, because I'm going to spend a little time working with the decks I've chosen this weekend, and then I'll probably pick a crystal to come with me. Either I might choose one right away, or I might take a couple days, so I will let you know which crystal next week, as long as I remember. So anyways, I'm going to be putting my little Blue Lace Agate away for now, but that was a really lovely supporter for the readings. And of course I carried everything around in my wrap bag. This is one of Peggy's 2-pocket travel wrap bags, and she made this for me just before Newt's and I really love it. It held all of this stuff. It held my Untold Tarot book, both of my decks, my cloth, and my crystal quite comfortably. So I'm going to be reloading it with this week's decks. So what am I working with this week? So the tarot deck I'm going to be working with this week is the Inspirational Tarot by Rachel Faribault. Now, this one is new to me. It was a gift from somebody who very generously sent it to me with a few other decks. I have that haul and a full flip through of this deck on my channel. I might not have put it up yet. I'll have to look. I just realized I filmed it, but I don't know if I've put it up yet. If I haven't put it up yet, you'll be able to see a full flip through and that haul. I'll probably put it up for Tuesday. So I just realized I don't remember. I don't think I put it up. It's been a very crazy week. Have I mentioned that yet? Anyway, I'm going to show you a few cards. This is a really beautiful deck. And I'm really excited to work with it this week, actually. So this is what the backs look like. They're like this blingy, like silver gorgeousness. And it's a pip deck, but it's got more of a Rider-Waite feel to me. Oh, there's the title card I shuffled in. It's got more of a Rider-Waite, let's get the glare off, feel. It's semi-matte. It's not super, the cards themselves have that like regular satin kind of finish. They're extra reflective because there's sunlight on me right now. Oh, another title card I shuffled in. Oh boy. I must have done that after I did the flip through because I think I was really anxious to pull a few cards. But I love the colors in this deck. It just feels very soothing. It's pippish, but it feels very comforting. And a little more, like I said, a little bit more Rider-Waite Smith-like. So I'm really excited to dig into this. I'm probably going to read with it, not using any traditional Marseille methods, but actually working with its guidebook, which, speaking of which, the guidebook, let's put these this way so I don't shuffle the title cards in again. It does come in the box. It comes with, because I think you buy the guidebook separately for this deck. It comes with like a fold-out sheet. It's just like an 8.5 by 11, like fold out, that has like a little bit on every card. I'm probably not going to be working with this because I was also sent the guidebook, which is actually a really nice little spiral bound, still with that metallic gorgeousness on the cover. I have done some flipping through, and I really like the way the messages are done in the guidebook. Particularly the reason I selected this for this week is because there's, in addition to all the information you get on every card, there's also a message at the bottom, and it just felt like it would feel very comforting to work with a guidebook like this with a deck like this week. So I will let you know how it worked out, but I feel like it's going to feel really nice after working with so many Marseille decks with that, you know, that are using a particular method. Oh, now I've got to get that paper thing out of here. Tuck boxes drive me bananas. I might actually not use the tuck box this week. It's not a particularly sturdy tuck box feeling tuck box either. Like, it feels pretty like flimsy. But I'm going to be carting it around in this wrap bag, so I might just keep the cards loose. We'll see. So that is the Inspirational Tarot that I'm going to be working with. And the Oracle deck I picked, I wanted something very simple and clean, and I know I mentioned that I was going to work with something similar, but I forgot that I'd changed my mind. I picked this both for its colors and because I'm going to be planning to work with it just one card at a time, and it is the Inner Star Oracle deck. This is the Magic Edition. So this is an indie Oracle deck by the Darling Tree. This is what the backings look like. Very pretty. And this is like really, really beautiful. So it's got these sigils on the front. If you look carefully though, there's scenes in the back. So this is Unfolding Lesson. I can't really tell what the scene is. It looks like maybe a cliff or a waterfall. Let's see if I can find one that's a little better. Yeah, okay. Here's one that's Clarity of Insight. And if you look very carefully in the background, you can see a face and like a moon in the background. It's really like something you have to stare into. I feel like it's almost like scrying in a way. Okay, I'm gonna pull these back up now. But this deck just feels like it would bring a lot of clarity and simplicity and like soothing energy to my readings this week. I don't know why. It feels like it's a little more high vibe, a little more third eye and crown chakra, just a little bit more of that. And I feel like that's gonna feel really good this week. We'll see. So I have that, and that's what I'm gonna be working with beside, and I think the colors are gonna play like very nicely together. I think those are gonna go really good. So I'm gonna play with that this week. And the reading cloth I chose is this lavender butterfly. Lavender and gray butterflies. I think I've used this one fairly recently, but I just thought the colors would go nice with all the purples and the blues and the pinks and things. So I'm gonna load all of this up, and I just smacked myself in the face with the strings. I'm gonna load all this stuff up into my wrap bag and pack it all up and start playing with it this weekend. So if you want to know how these worked out for me, make sure you tune into next week's weekly deck review on Saturday. And again, if you're watching this right when I first put it up, remember that we're going to be live a little bit later today talking about self-care during tough times. And as always, I would love to hear your thoughts down below on either these decks or what you're working with this week or how you're doing in general. I think it's just important to connect and stay connected right now, especially because we just don't have as much of that out in the world. So stay safe and take good care of yourself. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to book a reading, you can do that with me over at supportivetarot.com. Thanks so much, you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.